looks good. For those of you short on time, I'm going to cheat a little and I'm going to show you the result of the car. This is Jay Leno's Garage detailing products. It's the detail spray, the ceramic wash and shampoo, and the radiant ceramic coating. The car came out great. This is as close as a candy finish that you're going to get without going to a full ceramic coating, which is way more expensive than the $20 that the spray ceramic that Jay Leno has. The car is amazing. Reflection for days. So in this video, I tell you how I did it. I give you a few stories about Jay Leno, my own story about a barn find. Join along. It's a little long and I'm sorry that it is, but it's worth your time. Now here's our before video. Gonna identify marks or areas of concern that I want to take care of. Just dusty, just a lot of pollen. That's all, a lot of pollen. Volvo picked a real nice color. So no areas of concern, but here's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna do a strip wash because how can I tell you how good something is if I haven't taken off the old coating? So let's begin. You always know a strip wash has done its job when the water stops beating. See how it's just like one sheet of water? So the water stopped beating. So we're working with a clean surface now. There's no coating on the car. So whatever we see as a result, it's all gonna be Leno's Garage product. We did the ceramic wash, and I'm here to give you the straight scoop. The lubricity of the product when I was cleaning the car was excellent. It moves it along quite nicely. So now I'm on to the quick detailer as a drying aid. Because now we are working in full sun, and this water is just drying very quickly. But when you use a quick detailer as a drying aid, you can keep yourself from getting water spots, which is what I'm doing now. When I use a towel, I like to toss it and do a long stroke. And that keeps you from rubbing the towel into the paint. But this towel, like I said, is double-sided, so it's highly absorbent. It's gotten up this whole car. And I see I need a little spot here with some detailing aid again, but we'll get to that. Okay, we're gonna get started here. I'm going with the all-purpose cleaner, mixed it into a little bucket that I use for wheels and tires, and we're gonna get those cleaned off. So let's get cracking. I've already done the APC on the tire itself. You can see some of the browning that's come off. When I get a product in my hand, yeah, there's a certain feel to it, but I'm always looking at sprayers. A sprayer that comes out as a stream for brakes and tires is really not the right application for a stream. You want to mist, and this does a great job of misting. As you can see, always get it in the wheel, inside the barrel, let it roll down, do some of the work for you. There we go. And now I'll go to my soft brush. It's soaking in APC. Get some of that excess APC off. There we go. Get the barrel first. Barrel. Okay. Now, when I was growing up, you didn't have large rims like this. What is this? This is like an 18 or a 19-inch rim. You know, we had 13s, we had 14-inch, and that was the height of performance. So for all you young kids out there that are, you know, making your car do G-turns, let me tell you, we were doing those G-turns on 13-inch tires. So you got a lot of grip in what you're doing. Us, on the other hand, Gen X, we were risking our lives on little 165, 13-inch tires. Just a quick observation there. And these are actually 245, 45, 20. That's the size of this. That's a big, big tire. 245 tires. And you can do some serious hardcore maneuvering on a 245. We would do it on a 165s. 165 70 or 75 13. And then you were big stuff if you had a 14-inch rim. And that's the brake dust bucket after four rims. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Like I said, this car gets washed weekly. It's taken care of well. However, the washes are machine wash. So you know what that does to your paint. Swirl City. So going back over the car, we're looking for water spots, and I don't see any. I did a pretty thorough job. Although, no, that's not a water spot. That's a little more on the paint that I see. But let's say this car was in the dust for 2 days. You stored it outside. You could use this quick detailer. Spray it on your surface. You take your microfiber cloth. You just wipe it clean. Just like that. And we're in full sun. As long as you get it very quickly, it's not a problem being in full sun. But see that sheen? Just that quick detailer brought out? That's nice. We've already got reflection. I always mention this because people wonder, like, gosh, why do you shake so much? I was born that way. I have a fine motor trimmer. I had it since I was a kid. All right, see? That's not bad. Let's compare it. Okay, now we've done this panel. Let's compare it to the panel below. Not as glossy. Done. Not done. Turn it over, buff it off. So already, we got a rock star in the group. Done. That went glossy. Already, we got a rock star. Leno's Garage Quick Detailer. It's rocking. It's good. It's as good a detailer as I've seen. I tell you what, I've got chemicals from a number of brands, from expensive to inexpensive, and this works well. This quick detailer is as good as they come. And at $9.99 compared to other detailers that are in the $20 range, this is rocking. Not bad at all. You're gonna see steam come up. See that? See the steam? There's steam coming up from the heat of this hood. And I'm gonna spray and wipe quickly. And it's not a problem. This is a quick detailer that works in the sun. But I would do a panel at a time. No more bug. It works in the heat. So you could be at a car show, when you get the dust off your car, spray it on, wipe it off quick in the heat. So with just that quick detailer, we did get some hydrophobic properties and paint protection. So now we're working with the Leno's Garage Tire and Trim Care. On this side we have untreated. And this side is treated. See that gloss? And then the gloss disappears, flat. Same thing here with the J. Leno's Garage Tire and Trim Care. You can see which side is treated and which side is untreated. The whole idea of taking care of plastic like this is to give it UV protection so it doesn't fade down the road. Nothing worse than having faded white plastic. Avalanche was one of the huge offenders with black plastic that just absolutely turned white. Not a good look. Gonna use a quick detailer to get some water spots off the rims. Now that I'm done using this towel on the body of the car, I have no problem putting it on the rims. Water spot's gone. All right, we're gonna go to halftime here. We just did the tires in the Leno's product Tire Shine.
It's a little slingy. So this is definitely a product you want to put on dry wheels, and you want to let it dry so that it doesn't sling onto your paint. But this whole side of the car, I did it in the detailer, and I like the way it looks. The Jay Leno's Quick Detailer is a great product comparative to other products that cost twice the amount. And I got a nice gloss out of it, just the detailer. Remember, you can use a detailer after about 2-3 days of dust to get your car back to clean. After that, you would have to go to a waterless wash if you wanted to clean off a heavy accumulated pollen. And most certainly if you have mud or something, you're gonna have to go to a full hand wash. Looks good so far. So we're gonna take a meal break. We're in full sun. We're probably gonna have to wait till evening to do the Radiant Ceramic product, and then we'll have a result. Okay, we waited till the evening when it's cooler. We've got Jay Leno's Radiant Ceramic coating, and less is more when you deal with ceramics. I like back and forth motions myself, and then crosshatch, so I make sure I get complete coverage. I don't want to do this again. I really should have paint corrected this, but I didn't. 2.0 wash is going to be doing a clay bar, as the surface really could use it. This car is stored outdoors, and so it's got some tree sap. You probably can't see it in that angle right now, but I have a tree that is my enemy, not only because it drops sap, but because there's a flock of wild parakeets in the neighborhood, and they love that tree. Boy, you would think they'd never met a better tree in their lives. You can kind of hear them right now. Jay Leno is a big fan of barn finds, obviously, any car guy is. And he's got a video from April 24th, if memory serves, where he walks through his car collection with a gentleman talking about his barn finds. And one of the cool stories is about his one-off Jaguar. It's a 64. It's a 64. And the Jaguar was in the hands of a man who drove it for about 3 years and then put it away. And then, unbelievably, a one-of-one Jaguar, he stored products on top of it in a garage. So when the man passed, he talked to the family, was told by the police officers, you know, Jay Leno's garage is just a mile down the road. Maybe you might want to talk to him. Maybe he'd want this car. He's an avid car collector, and of course everybody knows who Jay Leno is. And so Jay drove a mile down the road, looked at the car, and literally had to dig it out from a water heater that was sitting on top of it. Now, you might go, okay, yeah, barn find car, all right. Remember, this gentleman had the car for his entire life, since new, and the car had only been driven about 3 years. So everything was perfect and pristine. It's just the guy never drove it. He put it away. The story is kind of sad because it goes on to say that he was a drunk and he drove himself to drink himself to death. Not a way to go, as I understand it. And Jay dug it out. There wasn't much work to do. I mean, the clock was still working. So they disassembled some of the seals, changed out lubricants, and the car fired right up. That is a barn find and a half. Okay, now we're putting 2 coats, remember. I want to make sure I get it all. Now, I myself had one opportunity so far in my life of a barn find. And what happened was, I used to have a X19, little Italian car designed by Nuccio Bertoni. Little car. Came out in '74. Had a 1.3 engine to start, single overhead cam. And I had a 85 Bertoni. They're all Fiats, but they changed the name to Bertoni for import reasons, I think, or whatever. And I was sitting at a stoplight, and a guy in a work van came up to me. I mean, I'm at a stoplight, and an X19 is a convertible. It's a hardtop removable convertible. So you take the whole top off, and then you're open air. I had a big valve head in it. I had an adjustable cam. I really put some love into the car. And it was my second X19 I had. So, you know, some of the performance parts that I put on the car, I already had them. So I was able to just transfer parts over, which saved me a lot of money at the time. So anyway, a man comes from a work truck, comes to me. He says, I have a car exactly like this one. And I think maybe he was Polish or something. He had an accent. And I'm kind of getting over the surprise that somebody in Los Angeles is talking to me at a traffic light. He gave me his address, and it was in Buena Park. And I went, and it's a warehouse. And now this is where it gets strange. So I'm in a warehouse in Buena Park, and he's got a bunch of classic cars, a bunch. I'm talking at least 25 fitted into a warehouse. So tight, you can't even open the doors. But all the windows are down. Okay, well, at the time I was really slight. I had no problem sliding into different cars and checking them out. He was real open about it. Oh, anything you want to look at, anything you want, anything you want. Okay, great. I get the feeling that maybe his business was in turmoil and, you know, he needed the money. Okay, great. I'm your man. He shows me a Bertoni X19, maybe it was an 83, and he's got it stored outside. So this poor little X19 doesn't even rate to be inside of his warehouse, which to me is a crime, but I'm an enthusiast for that kind of a car, so, well, enthusiast or sucker, depends on which way you look at it. So when looking at the car, you know, it had typical window regulator problems, had power windows, that was a nice option. Had a little stereo in it, vintage stereo from the period of the 80s. And I asked her, well, how much do you want? And I don't know what it is about people, but they tend to ask me, well, how much can you afford? Because that was the way I bought my first X19. The gentleman said, how much can you afford? And I gave him an honest answer on my first one. And I ended up buying a real nice, that one was a 79 X19. I bought a real nice 79 X19 for $575 or maybe $650, I can't remember, this was years ago. And the guy had asked me, how much can you afford? And I was honest with him. I said, this is how much I have. That's all I had. And he sold me the car. And it was twin Weber carbs. It had that cam that I took out later, a FASA 3575 cam, and the big valve head done by a company called PBS. Because at the time, PBS was just getting out of the racing scene for Fiats. And they had become quite popular for their book of modifications. They actually self-published a book that I bought. And so I'm sitting on all these performance parts, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'll take this car. It was relatively rust-free. California cars tend to be that way. So I paid him $1,000, this Polish guy, for the car. But at the time, I had no place to store it. I was living in Manhattan Beach, and I had a very small one-bedroom apartment with a single-car garage, and I'm lucky to have a garage. So I asked him, hold on to it. Now, what's strange, here's where the story gets strange. The owner of the car had a man that was maybe like a caretaker of the vehicles, or he was there often, I don't know, but he had a tent pitched on a concrete floor, and I think he lived there. So strange, but you start thinking like, hey, my car's in good hands. I mean, it's not gonna get stolen. There's somebody on site. That's a good thing. Can't have a problem with that. And I let it sit for a while. Came and I visited it a few times to take stock of it, see if it would turn. You know, I brought tools, trying to figure out what I was gonna need to order, parts, that kind of thing. Placed my order for parts. And then one day I came to the warehouse and no one was there. Well, I didn't think much of it. All right, come back another time. Nobody was there. Come back another time. And I could still peek through the windows. There were still cars in there, but nobody was there. Tent was gone. Come to find, with some time, when somebody finally showed up to the warehouse, that Polish guy had passed. So I thought, okay, I'll work with his kids, you know, I'll show them the bill of sale, the agreement. Nobody ever showed up to that warehouse. I could never get in touch with any family, didn't have any connection numbers. I had his last name from the bill of sale. Nobody ever returned any inquiries I made about it. I mean, and I tried because I really wanted that car. And so my single experience with seeing barn finds and grabbing one myself didn't go so good, because I waited, I left the car there, and the man passed. And there went my X19. I didn't think much of it, because, I mean, it's kind of sad that, you know, his family was dealing with it, and I didn't want to try to bug him and leave legal notices and all that. That's just, nah, that's not me. But unfortunately, I lost out on that car. And let me tell you, he had Camaros, he had all kinds of classic vintage cars that were beautiful, just beautiful. So, note to self, next time I see a barn find car, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it. Take it home. If you can't take it home, don't buy it. Now, another story about Jay Leno is that when he came back to return to the Tonight Show, I was real excited. You know, I've made no secret that I'm a big fan of Jay Leno. Conan O'Brien had been doing the show, and Conan and his people were not happy about the transfer. Now, that had nothing to do with Jay Leno. It had everything to do with the ratings falling, and, you know, networks make money through advertising, and advertisers leave, and, you know, you don't have a show anymore. It's just how it goes. So when Jay Leno came back, I remember the monologue he gave explaining the situation of what brought him back, and as I recall it, Jay Leno actually cried on air. I mean, he displayed a raw amount of emotion that struck me. I was just, wow. But you gotta understand, he had been doing that show for, God, I don't know, maybe it was 16, 17 years, and it was a labor of love for him. And getting to come back, you know, you can certainly understand his expression. Okay, now we're still gonna have to do the windows. I don't like what I see on the windows in some places, but I don't see streaking issues. I really don't. Not if you rub completely. Now, by comparison, my other favorite ceramic spray product, it's Hydro Blitz by Chemical Guys. And get ready for a workout. If you think you're going to coat your car, by the time you're done with it, you're going to be breathing heavy. It is a workout and a half. But let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. Almost done. Almost done with this side. This isn't a fair comparison because we're in the shade. And I would love to have some sun to be able to show this off, because I can tell you, this looks good. This looks really good. All right, just take a step back, find any high spots that I've got. See a high spot right here. Hey, 2 high spots for a whole side of the car. I think I'm doing okay. I really wish that I had the sunlight. I'll have to do a film on this tomorrow so you can see what it looks like, but it looks good. It looks darn good. That's got some shine to it. Radiant ceramic coating. This is, okay, I've got a few of these ceramic type sealants, coatings. This is the easiest to use, and it is nearly, it's foolproof. I shouldn't say that. I'll probably edit that out. It is, you can't go wrong. You can't make a mistake. You just can't. I've sprayed it on, I wiped it off, and boom. I even had a wet towel ready, or a damp one, in case I ran into any problem areas where I couldn't get the haze off. But you haven't seen me pull out that wet towel. Wow, wow, wow. I really look forward to it. You can make every detail out of that tree that I hate because it drops sap on every car that's underneath it. And the parrots root in it, or root, and put their droppings down anything that's below it. But parking sometimes gets at a premium on the weekends. We have a party house across the street from us. They always bring guests. Anyway, it looks good, darn good. I'm almost ready to do the reveal. Got to put away the rags. Smooth. Looks great. And I didn't even paint correct. Okay, I found a really good view to show you the result. This is the last of the direct sunlight. Now, I've ceramic coated cars with specialty coatings, and this is as close as it's going to get to like a candy type finish with lots of gloss and shine. Every note of that fleck is getting picked up, every bit of it. So if you've got metallic in your paint, that radiant ceramic product, it's going to look amazeballs. Any questions about how good this stuff is? I'll let the paint do the talking. That one towel does the whole car, no problem. I used my own microfibers. I didn't want to break the seal on Jay's, and I already have them. They were washed and cleaned, so I used 3 different microfiber towels and then a last PFM towel. So the first thing we did was an Atom strip wash, and the reason we did that was I wanted to know what the radiant ceramic coating was going to do. If there's another product that's sealing the car, or a wax, or a spray-on, I wouldn't have a real result to give you. So the strip wash took everything off. You saw the water go flat. That means no beading. That means there was no coating on the car. So we did the ceramic wash and wax, and it's a good wash, but it's not going to protect the car. You need more than that. Now you can get some protection using their detail spray, which we'll get to, but The next thing we did after the ceramic wash was the wheel and tire cleaner, which works fine. Okay, so we used Jay's APC product, and I diluted that probably 20 to 1, if not way more. That was for getting the tire shine that was previously on the car off. Okay, so all that was done. Next, we went with a quick detailer when I came back after my break to get any dust off of the car. This quick detailer works in the sun. It's awesome. For $9.99 as opposed to other quick detail sprays, which are anywhere from $13.99 up to 20 bucks. This is going to be a regular detail product that I use. It is a star of the show because you can use it in the heat. You're at a car show, you want to get it clean, get the pollen off, that'll do it for you. In the heat, no problem. The Radiant Ceramic Coating. I got a special place in my heart for coatings, especially when they're sprayable. The days of waxes, I still like to wax a car from time to time, but it's a lot of work. A coating like that, you can just do it in minutes as opposed to hours with a wax. The car looked great. I gave you so many different angles, so many different views. This stuff rocks. It does it. I mean, it just does it. It brought the metal flake and that Volvo paint out. It looked amazing. I didn't use a lot. And remember, I gave 2 coatings. I gave 2 coatings to every panel of this car so that I would make sure and not have any spots that weren't covered. Lastly, glass cleaner. Glass cleaner is glass cleaner, but for 10 bucks, it's not bad. This is the lineup that we used on the Volvo, and I'm super happy with the result. I didn't do any paint correction. I didn't even clay bar the car, and I wish I had, but I got a nice smooth surface. The tree I hate. Just fleck. All those flecks just pop out of that paint with that ceramic coating. Now forgive me if we find any spots that I need to put my attention to, but it looks amazing. Although you can buy them at O'Reilly's or directly from Leno's garage itself, they do the job and they do it with excellence. Nice glossy tire, not too glossy, which in my opinion takes away from the look of the paint, but just right. So 2 things that are earning a spot on my detail cart are the quick detail spray and the Radiant Ceramic Coating. They work and they work well and they're easy to use, quick. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be in everybody's detail cart. It's a fantastic option. So good. Next car I'm gonna get done is my BMW. And then I gotta see if I can get some coating correction products for my old Ford truck over there underneath the tree I hate. Yes, the wannabe environmental lawyer hates a tree. Anyway, take care, Sound and Gloss engineers. This was a lot of fun today. Showed the mother-in-law. She's real happy with it. Be the reason somebody smiles today.